Are you tired of self doubt holding you back? Have you ever wished you could have the confidence to face your fears, go after your wildest dreams, and the tools necessary to live your best life? Hey there, amazing listeners. I'm your host and author of How to Grasp Confidence and Own Your Power. And I've made it my mission to help you break free from self doubt and embrace confidence. Subscribe now and join us as we unlock the secrets to unshakable self-assurance. Let's dive in. Imagine this. You step on stage. It's the TEDx stage. The stage like nothing you've ever been on before. And then 4 months later, your talk garners worldwide acclaim and over 18.4 million views and almost 100,000 likes. It would change your life. The goal of my next guest was to also change other people's lives, to start conversations and to start a narrative of what redemption really means. John Tarantino is that person. So he has become a viral TEDx speaker phenomenon. And John, I don't know if you knew this, maybe you did, but your talk is one of the top 15 of all time. Holy cow.
Wow. I did not know that. Thank you. Wow.
How does that feel, my friend?
It's remarkable. It's astounding. It's humbling because, as you say, 4 months is a relatively short period of time. But what means the most to me about that is that people are getting something out of this talk. Many comments, very positive comments. I believe in the talk's message, and it really means a lot to me that so many others do as well.
Absolutely. And you have a very diverse background. You're a senior counsel, you're also a CEO, and now you've become a TEDx speaker. Why did you choose, of all the topics that you could have picked from, why redemption? Why was that something that was resonant to you and important to you?
Well, two things. First, to be, absolutely honest, it wasn't my first choice.
Really?
It was not my first choice of a topic. I had another topic, but because that other topic, at least mentioned in large part, someone that I later learned was going to be a sponsor of the TEDx event, TED does not allow you to do that. And so after I spent a fair amount of time working on that talk and talking about all the great things that a sponsor was doing, I was told, unfortunately, I could not use the talk. So I guess it was a blessing because I had to go back to the drawing board. And it was a period of time where I was engaged in a lot of self-assessment. I had lost my wife of almost 45 years. I was feeling, or I had felt hopeless. I felt that I had been defeated by the type of cancer that she had. People sort of jokingly used to refer to me as Superman, and I felt that I found my kryptonite in pancreatic cancer, and I was feeling down. And I just had a vision, truly a vision, that there was redemption, that I could redeem myself. I didn't have to be stuck in this place. I would never want to, move on from my wife, but I could move forward. She would always be part of my life, but I could now move forward. And I thought of my story, and I thought of another very close friend of mine who had demonstrated to me years earlier, that there was such a thing as redemption because he redeemed his own self. He had gone through some very, very difficult times and was able to redeem himself. So thinking about those two things, and also wanting to find a way to get beyond my kryptonite and to become the person I used to be again, I focused on the topic of redemption.
Talk about a happy accident. That was no accident. I feel very much a sense of maybe almost divine intervention there. That it's similar thing happened with me in my TED talk as well. I had all of this planned out, and then I had to change it, right? So, but I'm actually happier with the second version that I have now. So sometimes these roadblocks happen, but you know what? They force us to refine the process and make it even better.
Well, I'm pretty confident the first talk would not have garnered 18 plus million views.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, the good news is you have another TED talk in you, it sounds like.
I actually will be delivering another TED talk, not the one that I was planning earlier either, but I will be giving another TED talk. The organizers of the TEDx Providence event have asked me to please come back. They want to obviously promote the fact that someone from TEDx Providence had this kind of success, and they've been able to attract a much broader and sort of national group of TEDx talkers, and that's great. I want the event to be very successful. They help me, and to the extent that I can help others. So yes, there will be another TED talk down the road.
I knew it. I could feel it. I mean, somebody like you has to grace the stage a couple of times, right?
Well, I hope so. I hope so. They tried to, after they said I couldn't deliver the first TED talk because of the reference to a sponsor, mm-hmm. The principal organizer tried to talk me out of this TED talk too. Not because it wasn't allowed. He just felt it was very personal and very vulnerable. And was I sure that I was going to be comfortable delivering it with the fact that it would then be shown to the world? Do you really want to show your vulnerability? And I said, it's who I am. It's genuine. It's who I am. It's not an act. And I want the message to be out there. I cannot believe I'm the only person in this world who is feeling these feelings, who needs the hope, who needs the redemption. And if I can get that message out there and give others hope that we aren't frozen in this moment in time, we can move forward. There is such a thing as forgiveness and contrition and hope and redemption. If I could convince one person of that and change his or her life, it would be worth the talk. So yes, I'm not concerned that I'm being vulnerable on the stage.
My talk's very personal as well. And similar, right? Are you sure you want to talk about this? Mm-hmm. You know what? For me, there's no other way. And, you and I talked about authenticity and sharing your story before we went live today, and how important that is to, share your story and, in that human voice. It's the glue that's going to connect you to that other person on the other end. And the thing about sharing your story that's so interesting, even if somebody else hasn't experienced that exact same thing, they can relate to it because it's a human perspective. And it's so powerful, John. You're a fan of the book, and I do appreciate that.
Terrific book, by the way. Here's a plug, and it's a free plug. If you have not read Tara's book, I urge you, really read it. As I told her before we went live, I love her voice in the book. I love her voice anyway, but I love her voice in the book. It is so genuine. I felt I knew her reading her book, and the more I actually got to know Tara, I was right. I did know her from reading the book. So if you want to know Tara, if you want to experience that beautiful voice that she has, and get a tremendous feeling that you can be confident, you can grasp your confidence, read her book. It's excellent.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. As a professional speaker, it requires a lot of confidence, doesn't it?
It does.
And it requires a lot of confidence to step on stage. That's part of the reason I wrote the book as well, because I was going through this journey of confidence. I wanted to help empower others to do the same. But there's a level of confidence that's required for a professional speaker anyway. There's a whole different level of confidence to speaking on the TED stage and telling your authentic story and being vulnerable. Walk us through a little bit, because you have experience as an attorney, right? You have experience in front of a lot of people. You have the experience of all eyes on you. But what level of confidence did it take for you to share that authenticity, that vulnerability, and to step up on stage with confidence? Did you require a different level of confidence?
It was a different kind of confidence. Certainly, I've been an attorney for almost 43 years. And, I was the president of my firm until, very recently when I became senior counsel. Mm-hmm. Tried many, many cases, more than 120, jury trials over the course of my career. So I was confident in, presenting a client's case. But there's a big difference between presenting someone else's case and talking as an advocate on behalf of someone else. There's a little bit, it's the client and I'm the one presenting the client's case. And I had great confidence in doing that. This was very different. Mm-hmm. This was me. This was telling a side of me that most people never knew and would never have known had I not delivered the talk, because they see me as a professional, as an attorney, as someone who's, experienced as a litigator. All of those things are great skill sets. But to deliver a talk on stage before a live audience, and to tell that audience about really, really personal things that happened in these two stories, both of which I happen to play a significant role in, was unique and it was challenging. And I remember the morning that I was getting ready to give my TED talk, I looked in the mirror and I said, John, you have it in you. You can do it. I generally don't have to do that when I'm going to give a closing argument or make an argument to an appellate court. I know I have it in me, but I had to convince myself, John, you have it in you. Go and do it.
They say the TEDx stage can give even the most seasoned speakers the nerves. And I'm sure backstage you may have helped some colleagues there get up the nerve to do their talks as well. But it gives us nerves, right? And there's no reason for it. It's a stage just like any other stage, but we don't have a podium to hide behind, right? It's just you. And that can be intimidating for a lot of folks. While there's a lot of people out there that have these big aspirations of doing a TED Talk themselves, that fact kind of scares people off from it, even really smart, seasoned people. It's interesting, John. I see a lot of people out there that have this great potential to be on stage, share their stories, and impact lives, but they just lack the confidence, especially for TEDx. What do you think would be one of the better tips that you could share? Maybe it was rehearsal, practicing, visualization exercises. What was something that you did that really helped you gain that confidence to deliver that talk the way you did?
I certainly practiced by myself in my apartment. I practiced a lot delivering my talk, and I changed it over the course of several weeks. The other thing that was really helpful to me, and it led me to believe, first, I could do it, and second, that the talk was a good talk, was a worthy talk, was to deliver it, to another audience, a much smaller audience. I asked a group of people, some of whom I knew well, some of whom I knew a little bit, and some of whom I really didn't know that well at all, um, to come into a conference room and to give me, positive feedback or constructive criticism, however you look at it, um, in presenting this talk that I wanted to give to a very large live audience at the Veterans Auditorium here in Providence. And so maybe a week or so before the actual TED presentation, I gave it, and there were probably 15, 18 people maybe in a room. And as soon as I saw, and these were men and women, as soon as I saw the eyes tear up and tears flow, I knew I was reaching them. And I felt the message is getting there. It's important to them. And I had so many of them come up to me afterwards and hug me and say, you don't know what I was going through. You don't know what I am going through. That talk, I felt, was being delivered to me. And I think many of the viewers that I've heard from said, John, I felt you were delivering your talk to me. I felt that you were giving me the hope. You were telling me I'm not frozen in this awful moment of time. I can go forward. And that has meant the world to me.
Wow. The power of reaching someone. Again, this is what we talked about in the beginning. If we don't share this authentic story, we can't reach people. And, just like with writing the book, it was hard. It wasn't easy. There are parts I didn't want to share. There were times I cried while writing it. Just like I cried during your TED Talk. The 5 times I watched it now. But if we didn't share, you and I wouldn't be able to connect on this deep human level like we have. You read my book, I watched your talk, and it's like we knew each other before we even knew each other. And that's the power of it. And this is why professional speaking is so important at reaching the masses. When you have a message that's impactful, that can change lives or save them, because I do believe your talk can actually save lives, then we have a duty to share that message with the world, with somebody that really needs it, somebody just like what you said, who's going through their own redemption right now. Maybe it's feelings of guilt, right? Maybe it's something that they feel like is irreparable, right? And they hear your talk and all of a sudden they have hope. That's a powerful thing, John.
It is. And I felt, and for a long time after my wife passed, that I had let her down. I had, I always felt that I could do anything. Truly, I was a very successful lawyer. I was an athlete. I'm a martial artist. I felt I could do anything. I was afraid of nothing. Mm-hmm. And I exuded confidence in that respect. And then my wife was diagnosed with, a terrible, terrible disease at a point in time where it was already stage 4 and there was 0% chance that she was going to survive. And I felt that I had failed her, that I had not been her protector. I was not able to keep her from passing. And as I thought about it, and we talked together as a couple before my wife passed, we decided we weren't going to allow that to happen. We were not going to allow her death to be that dividing line, and everything was going to be over once she was gone. We knew that she was going to pass to a better place, as I say, but the fight against this terrible disease was going to have to continue, and that, as I say in my talk, she fought every day of her life after she was diagnosed. And as you know, Tara, she refused when the oncologist said, do you want to know how long you have to live? And my wife said, no, I don't want to be cabined in any way. However long I have to live, that's up to God. If he gives me a day, a week, a month, a year, it's his choice. But I'm going to live every day that God gives me with grace, and I'm going to try to live my life to the fullest. And the remarkable thing is that after my wife and I decided that there were concrete things we could do, not to give up and to say we're going to do something, and as you know, and those who watch the talk know, we did two principal things. One, my wife had very substantial life insurance policies, and we decided that we would just donate the proceeds of those policies to cancer research. And then I live in an apartment now. It's fine, it's good for me. But we had a very big, beautiful home that we had lived in for 33 years. We raised our family. And we also decided that after her passing, it didn't make sense for me to continue to live there, and that we would do the same thing. We would donate the home, the proceeds from the home, to cancer research. So we felt we were doing something. And that was a lot. That was a lot of money. And that was great, but we felt it wasn't enough. I will tell you that since my wife's passing, and I never thought I would get 18 million plus views, nor did I believe I would ever raise $15+ million for cancer research. That is a lot of money. And the only way I was able to do it was because people listened to that talk. They listened to other talks that I've given, not TED Talks, but other presentations of how important it is to have this kind of research so that other people don't suffer the way my wife did. And it's compelling. I had one person from Florida, a lawyer who I don't know, call me and said, I watched your TED Talk. It was great. I said, thank you. And he said, I have pancreatic cancer, stage 4, just like your wife.
Oh my God.
He said, it's end stage. And he said, I want to donate to your foundation. I thought about establishing my own, but you've already established it. Why would I do it? It's exactly what I would want to do. And I said, that's really a nice thing. And he said, do you want to know how much I'm going to donate? And I said, no, you don't have to tell me. Whatever you give. He said, I'm giving you $250,000. This person doesn't know me at all. Just watch my TED Talk. So I'm going to give you $250,000. He did. And 3 days later, he died. So again, a remarkable story. And there have been many stories like that, not of 250,000, but there have been many, 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 many people who have donated and said, we want to help. They've had people in their family who have pancreatic cancer or died from pancreatic cancer, or they don't know anyone who has, but they are moved by the fact that this is a debilitating, horrible disease with no cure. And I'm going to make sure that everything that I can do in my life before God calls me, I just hope he lets me live long enough that I can see a cure, because then I will be able to die in peace.
Wow. So much to unpack there. But you highlight on the importance of, again, when we make it not about us, when it's about something more, the hearts that we can reach.
Absolutely, Tara. Absolutely. It is. It's about, many great speakers, have said when you give a talk, it's not about, what you get from it. It's what you give. And I know you've said that many times, and I truly believe that. I believe that I have something to give to the audience, and I believe that the audience can take something positive from my talks. And if I can do that, and I can make things easier for people, give them some hope, not false hope, real hope.
Yeah.
Not just be a cheerleader, but to give real hope, then that's worth much more than recognition or how many views you have or how much money you make or any of those things. That makes me feel fulfilled as a person.
Yes. It's turning that pain into purpose is what I like to call it too. You know, we've all gone through pain. Sometimes it's adversity, failures, obstacles, hardships, trauma, abuse, right? We've lost a loved one, someone dear to us. Maybe we've gone through something. But you find that pain and you have a choice. You know, you can either stay in that pain and stay in that mindset and live there, or you can use that pain and transmute it into purpose to help other people. And I think that's ultimately the purpose of all of our lives, is to take these learning lessons and to help others overcome their struggles with it. You know, it's horrible to go through, but if we can help one other person, then
Absolutely.
you know it really does make a difference. And it's about that ripple effect that we can all create. And your story with a lawyer is so beautiful. And I swore I would have my tissue box next to me today, but I ran out. And I said, why today? I know he's gonna make me cry.
Well, I hope they're good tears. Happy.
They are good tears, of course, of course. But it's just so beautiful, such a touching story. And you know, I've shared your talk with my network, and people that haven't met you or know you have reached out to you because of it and connected with you because of it and have donated because of it. And let's keep this going. Let's keep this momentum going, because just this month, and I'm so impressed with you, by the way, like you have these muscles, and it's because every day you're doing how many push-ups, John?
416. That's an odd number, I know, but my wife passed away on April 16th, 416, and so November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, and so I decided that I would do 416 push-ups a day to raise awareness for pancreatic treatment and research, and to honor my wife. So I've been doing 416 push-ups each day in the month of November. I only have one day left, and good, I only have one day left for the month of November, because I'm not going to do any push-ups for a while after that. But for those of you who are interested and want to start praying for me now, please start praying for me now. But in April, which will be 2 years anniversary of my wife's passing, my wife passed on 4/16/22. So the 416 is sort of the baby step to what I'm getting at, although that's still a lot of push-ups. But in April, I will do my best. I will really try hard to do 41,622 push-ups for the month of April. So I have my work cut out for me. So I pray that I will pray that I will stay healthy and I won't get injured, and I'll be able to do it, because while I've raised quite a bit of money in November of this year, I really want to have an enormous amount of money raised in April of 2024. So pray for me. I'm going to need those prayers.
You could mix it up with squats or something.
all push-ups, because it's hard to do. It's, if you make it easy, then there's no challenge there. This will be very hard for me. But
I'm lucky if I can do 12 push-ups. So you are Superman. I can't imagine doing 416 push-ups all day, every day, consecutively for a month. So I admire that dedication. What a phenomenal person. What a phenomenal life journey that you've had. What a phenomenal talk you've had. What a phenomenal career you've had. And to continue this is just amazing. And again, I encourage everyone. I've donated to John's cause. If everyone could find it in their hearts, maybe you'd eat out less one day this week, right? It doesn't have to be a lot, but give what you can, and you don't have to sacrifice. But you know, I've always found, John, too, that when you give, you always get it back in some kind of way or another. Always, always, always. So if everybody could find it in their hearts to give what they can to John's funds and his cause, that would be just amazing. Because we want to have a cure. We want to have a cure. It's time.
It's time, and the money I've been able to use to really remarkably change cancer care in our state, and to have a real first quality, first class lab here. We've recruited top researchers and physicians from all around the country to come here because they believe in what we're doing, and I'm convinced. I'm convinced that it's not a question of whether it will happen, but when and how soon. And from my perspective, it can't be soon enough. Someone said to me the other day, "Well, John, you're doing all these things. Are you going to be disappointed if someone else somewhere in the world comes up with a cure and it's not from your lab?" And I would say, absolutely not. Absolutely not will I be disappointed. I will be thrilled. I would be thrilled to wake up one day and find out that some cancer researcher or some oncologist or some scientist found a cure for this cancer, or any cancer really, but for this particular cancer. I would be thrilled, and so would every single person who works on my team. This isn't about us accomplishing something personally. I know what we're doing, and we're working really hard to do it. I hope we do, but whomever that person will be, let me know as soon as possible. So I'd say in my talk, and I mean this, when that day happens, I don't know how old I will be. I don't know how strong or weak I will be, but whatever strength I have left, when I find out that there is, then I will shout at the top of my lungs with whatever strength I have left, pancreatic cancer, Pat has beaten you.
Yes.
Not for herself, but for everybody.
Yes, I love that. Absolutely. Pat has beaten you. So let's make this real. Let's donate to this cause and make John's dream a reality, and save lives in the process. That's what it's all about. But I think we've covered it. How to build stage confidence is having the bravery and courage to share your authentic story and self with the world. And if you can do that, you will reach the hearts of millions worldwide. And you could change the world. This is not something that I want to understate. You could literally change the world with your message. And for anybody out there that's listening who's maybe intimidated to do this, because I get messages every single day from aspiring speakers and professional speakers alike. Share your story, because if you could save one life from your story, you have a moral obligation to do it. So let's do it, and let's all become confident and share it with the world. But John, thank you so much for being an awesome guest on the show today. I'm so inspired and motivated by you. Any closing thoughts or last words that you have for us today?
The last words that I would say is sort of to go back to what you just said. And that is, if you believe what you have to say has meaning, and if you believe in the message that you want to deliver, please deliver it. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't hide your talent. Don't bury your talent. Don't keep it away from others. That's not using the talents God gave you. He didn't give you the talents to hide them or to keep them. Spread them. And so you have it in you. You believe in what your message is. Please have the confidence to deliver it.
Impactful. Thank you so much, John. And thank you so much for everyone who tuned into the show today. We will catch you on the next episode. Take care.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of Grasp Confidence. Thank you for joining me today and investing in yourself. Remember, building confidence is an ongoing journey, and each step you take brings you closer to the empowered, fearless version of yourself that you were born to be. Don't forget to visit my website, follow me on social media, and purchase my book, which is available on Amazon. Thank you for listening. We will see you on the next episode. Stay confident.